Straight ahead on CCX News.
Oh, yeah!
Aerospace class at Cooper High School takes learning to new heights. Plus, a breakdown of high school graduation rates, where your district stands. But first, awaiting Friday's snowy travel mess. What forecasters are predicting for the northwest suburbs. CCX News starts right now.
Hello, and thanks for joining us. We all knew 60s and sunny in February couldn't last forever, and Friday we are likely to find that out the hard way.
The latest forecast from the National Weather Service shows the northern suburbs could get 2 to 4 inches of snow. Other parts of the state will get significantly more, but local cities are still preparing for the worst. Delane Cleveland joins us now with more. Delane?
Alex and Shannon, the snowfall totals being predicted by the National Weather Service are smaller than what we heard earlier in the week, but that can always change. And Public Works employees in Crystal will watch the situation closely.
We're just going to be monitoring the storm and we'll be ready to go if needed. Our plows are still ready to go. We still have salt on standby, and so whatever Mother Nature brings, we'll be ready to go.
Crystal's massive stockpile of salt is stored in a shed along 41st Avenue. Prior to any snowstorm, crews load the salt onto their larger dump trucks so they're ready to go once the storm hits. Emergency personnel are on alert as well. Traffic police in Crystal say the number of car crashes increases whenever there's a snowfall, so drivers shouldn't have a false sense of security by the smaller predicted totals.
We're very cognizant of what can happen when we get 6, 8, 12 inches of snow. People slow down, they're much more cautious. I think we get a little overconfident in our ability to drive with snow, and sometimes we forget the dangers that can be caused by a very small amount of snow.
During snowstorms, officers say they can also attribute a lot of crashes to equipment issues with people's cars. So they urge drivers to have their tires and brakes checked. Shannon?
All right, thank you, Delane. In other news, local Senator Ron Latz isn't giving up his fight on what has been a polarizing topic all across the state, stricter gun control laws. Today, Latz, whose district includes parts of Plymouth and Golden Valley, joined Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman, several chiefs of police, and other gun control advocates at the state capitol. In a statement to CCX News, Latz says study after study shows that common sense laws like background check requirements can reduce gun violence, and they do so without preventing law-abiding citizens from owning guns. Senator Latz says only 60% of guns in Minnesota are sold to people who had background checks.
New state high school graduation data shows improvement for students statewide, but slight decreases for some local school districts. High school students graduated within 4 years at an 82% clip statewide. That's the highest rate on record. For local school districts, Osseo's graduation rate stayed above the state rate, but dropped 2 percentage points from the previous year. Robbinsdale, Hopkins, and Anoka Hennepin school districts also had slight declines. Wayzata had a slight improvement from the previous year. Brooklyn Center, meanwhile, posted a 7-point gain. The state still has wide racial achievement gaps, but there was a 3-point gain for African American students statewide, improving to 65%.
A city that's trying to gain restaurants is all of a sudden losing one. Sammy Pizza, located in the Park Place Promenade development, is closing on March 10th. In a Facebook message to customers, the restaurant cited circumstances beyond its control as the reason for the closure. It's unclear what those circumstances are. However, in 2013, the owner did appeal to the city after experiencing a drastic spike in commercial property taxes. Sammy's plans to move to a new location mean they will have an announcement coming soon. There is one other Sammy's location in the Twin Cities, and that is in Coon Rapids. When you're in the process of developing a new play area, it makes sense to go straight to those who will use it.
And that is exactly what Three Rivers Park District has done in an effort to make improvements at French Regional Park in Plymouth.
We are here to help design the new park and to kind of improve it.
Students from Parkbrook Elementary were the first ones to see how their input was used as Three Rivers Park District unveiled its plans for a new $1 million creative play area. The existing play area is nearly 30 years old and now closed. By getting suggestions from students, the Park District actually made some design changes. For example, choosing a different kind of swing based on the kids' feedback.
It has been such a fantastic experience to engage kids. I've worked with the system for over 20 years. We have wanted to incorporate kid insight into play area designs. We have a bunch of adults sitting at a table designing a play area with a lot of insight, but the kids are the ones using it day in and day out, and we really did receive valuable insight from them.
Construction is expected to begin this spring, and the new play area should be finished by next year. Schools are finding creative ways to work more science and engineering into the classroom.
But students at Cooper High School have a unique option to take an engineering class that pushes their skill set to new heights. Anytime your class can be held outdoors is a good day.
3, 2, 1.
When your class can shoot off a rocket, it's an even better day.
We're launching the rockets to take data for our lab reports that we're gonna do. And so we got timers, and then we have altitude measures.
This is Aerospace engineering class, and it's one of the newest classes at Cooper High School.
We're one of the few schools in the metro area that actually have a, now starting next year, a 4-year engineering program.
I get the altitude from the people back there who are recording it. I also get the time from launch to land. Heyo.
This project is much more than just putting together a kit and launching a rocket. Students designed and built their own rockets and used simulators to try to predict what would happen.
It allows us to gain data, and once we bring it back inside, we're gonna go through, see what models, what different rockets had the best success.
But what they found today,
3, 2, 1.
All right, pull the pin out.
All right, so this was a faulty launch.
Today we're finding that a lot of them don't launch.
that too, says instructor Tim Fitz, is part of the course.
Failure is not an option. I don't like that quote. I like the failure is an option quote, because failure happens and you have to know what to do once you fail.
And students do, problem solving and working together to figure out
No shoot, no shoot.
what went wrong.
It's a part of everything in the course. It happens a lot, but you know, we learn from it and we succeed in the future.
When they figure it out without me telling them exactly what to do, I think that's a great learning experience.
That's good. Yup. Okay. It's going straight down. That was a good launch.
It was. The aerospace class is the second engineering class offered at Cooper High School. There are plans to add civil architecture and design development in the future. It's very cool, Alex, and they didn't have a kit for those. They made them all themselves.
They made them themselves.
Yeah.
Well, I like failure is an option.
That's
it
right.
happens.
Good lesson to learn. Coming up, we head to Breck Academy in Golden Valley to meet this week's standout student.
And then later in sports, the Providence Academy boys hockey team opens the playoffs with an overtime battle.
But first, travel will improve on Saturday. The snow system is supposed to wrap up by Friday night.
A Breck student is making a difference not only in Minnesota, but hundreds of miles away.
Kira Kiwi Sundin is smart, athletic, and compassionate. Reporter Sonia Goins has more on this week's Standout Student.
And I'm so privileged to be here.
Kiwi Sundin is only a junior, but she's already taken on projects most adults would shy away from.
I mean, if you look at our library here, we have so many books, and a lot of them aren't read. And if you go and look at Melrose Elementary, for example, they don't have this.
After listening to a report on NPR about underperforming schools, Kiwi decided to take action.
It just really made me sad to think that these students didn't have the same opportunities.
She teamed up with a nonprofit called Diplomas Down.
Their mission is to try to decrease dropout rates in high schools and middle schools. Our role was raising $3,000 to ship those books down there to Louisiana to be able to be used in those schools that needed them.
Kiwi focused her attention on helping schools that were ravaged by floods last August in Louisiana. Through a variety of fundraisers, she raised more than $3,000 to ship 25,000 school books from Maryland to Louisiana.
The books came from Johns Hopkins University. They were left over.
Kiwi then took it upon herself to organize a school service trip to deliver the books and clean up flood damage.
As I was giving the books to one of the teachers, and she was like, "You don't understand how much this means."
You know, for some kids, this is going to be the only book in their house at this point. So that felt huge.
10 students and staff made the trip last week.
It seemed to me everything that like a service learning trip should be.
However, Kiwi had to make the trip ahead of her classmates. She's the captain of the gymnastics team and couldn't miss sectionals.
One teenager, she can't even vote yet, but she's making a huge difference.
Kiwi has a big heart and a lot of determination to make this world a better place.
It made me feel like I was doing something good in the world.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Kiwi plans to continue her humanitarian efforts by helping students in Minneapolis. She wants to plant community gardens this spring. Very inspirational girl.
Go Kiwi.
Coming up, a new musical comedy takes the stage at Cooper High School.
But first, the Maple Grove Gymnastics team gears up for the state meet. John Jacobson has that and much more coming up next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The state gymnastics meet is Friday and Saturday. Maple Grove is in the Class AA team competition for the 6th time overall and first time since 2009. Crimson worked on some final tune-ups for the state meet in their home gym. They qualified by scoring a season-best 146.25 at the Section 5 AA meet to edge Champlin Park for the title. It was a great night.
Yeah, on our last event, people were adding up scores, so if we got like a certain score, we knew that we would win.
Oh, it's so exciting. I've been on cloud 9 ever since the section meet, and that was days ago. I feel like we prepared as much as we could for that moment, and whatever happened that night is whatever happened. We had to just know that we did everything we could to get to state, and it happened.
Despite winning the section, Maple Grove didn't have an all-arounder qualify for state and had 2 entrants on individual events. It's a balanced team, and that can be a good thing.
I think it helps a lot in training because there's not one person that sticks out, and there's not one person that needs more attention or needs less attention than like anyone else on the team, from like the coaches or anything. I think it makes it easier to train as a group, which is something that I think makes us more successful.
The Class AA team competition is Friday night at 6 o'clock. AA individual action is Saturday night at 6, all at the University of Minnesota Sports Pavilion. The section hockey playoffs get underway Thursday night for local Class AA teams. The Section 2A tournament faced off Wednesday night with 2 opening round games, including 7th-seeded Providence Academy meeting Waconia. Highlights from this one: first period, the Lions number 27 Jackson Sonderby with a puck on net redirected in by Jacob Geisler. Providence takes a 1-0 lead after 1. Coach Hal Turse and the Lions holding that lead in the second period when they turn the puck over deep in their own end. Sean Goldman scores for the Wildcats, and it's a 1-1 game after 2. The scoring picks up in the third period. The Lions trail by a goal when Tommy Wayman's shot is tipped in by Daniel Hadija. It's a power play goal, and it's a 2-2 game. Waconia goes back in front before Providence rallies again. Jacob Wickham with the shot there for a goal, another one on the power play, and it's 3-3. Providence almost wins it in the third period. Geisler gets free for a breakaway, but Waconia goalie Trevor Rowe comes up with a big save, helping force overtime. In OT, the Wildcats get a 3-on-2 rush, and sophomore John Fisher buries the puck for the game winner. Waconia, the 10th seed, advances to play 2nd seeded Breck in a game scheduled for Friday night at 8 at Parade Ice Garden. Well, there's more than one way to approach tough bite situations when out fishing. Terry Tuma explains in his final CCX Sports ice fishing tip of the winter.
When we're fishing, say, a cold front, maybe the barometer's rising up quickly, or there's a lot of fishing pressure or real high sun, something that's going to cause a tougher bite that we're feeling that we're going to be engaged in. And we all start out, for crappies and bluegill, starting out number 12, number 14, possibly 10. But for the past 3 years, I've been using larger spoons, if you will, vertical jigging spoons that are going to flutter down real slow, offering a lot of flash. Tip one treble with a wax worm and then jig it in that strike zone where those fish are at. You'll be amazed at the success you have, not only for big crappies and bluegills, but many, many times even for smaller fish. Just a different approach, changing that concept of always small, slow, and subtle. And also that applies to open water fishing with finesse fishing. Many times those fish are going to tell you exactly what they want. Be one lure, jigged or presented one way, and that's going to catch the fish, and that many times that's the only way you're going to catch the fish on that day. So we have to match the lure, the action, the color according to what the fish want and what they tell us. Make sure that you turn us in next spring, in May, for open water tips, and man, are we going to have a lot of new tips to share with all of you, hopefully to catch some more fish. Have a great winter season. We'll see you right here in May.
Thanks, Terry. Be careful out on the ice if you even dare venture out at this point of the season. We'll have highlights and results from Section 5AA and 6AA boys hockey Friday starting at 4 here on CCX News. Alex and Shannon, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Up next, can the prince find a bride without his queen mother getting in the way?
The new musical comedy to take the stage at Cooper. That's when we come back.
And finally, if you remember the story The Princess and the Pea, you will enjoy a comedic take on the tale in Once Upon a Mattress, now at Cooper High School.
We have an opening for a princess, for a genuine certified princess. Tell us where you intend.
Director and theater instructor Gretchen Werzer says the senior class took responsibility for all aspects of this production. The story follows Prince Dauntless and his search for a bride when he comes across an unlikely princess named Winifred. The relationship, however, is stifled by the overbearing Queen Mother.
She's everything a princess should not be. I wave like this instead of like this, and I can't curtsy, and I have terrible, terrible table manners, but she's different.
Well, the whole time I can't talk, so all of my lines are mimed. So if you look in my notebook, I've got pages and pages of notes trying to figure out just how to get my gestures right and communicate what I'm supposed to say.
Once Upon a Mattress is on stage at the Cooper Auditorium this Friday and Saturday and next Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. with a matinee this Saturday at 2 p.m. And great costumes too.
Yeah, always so impressed with the caliber of theater around here.
They do a very good job. That's all the time we have for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
We will see you back here again Friday starting at 4 o'clock.